Well, here's an atypical choice. Brewster chooses Mill Road, not his normal spot. It's an interesting road. It's very windy and rocky. It just goes on and on and on. No real place for Brewster to go to. I think that's why he never chooses it. We'll walk a certain distance and then turn around. My brother-in-law drives a big, giant car. He's from Michigan. He's got a Denali or a Yukon or something like that. And my wife and I often talked about what it would be like to get him in that car on this road. It's so windy and twisty. There are boulders all over the place. It's tree-lined. There's really no margin for error. The farther up the road you go, the windier and nastier it gets. So he's out here, this is last year I guess. We decided, we'll take him down the road. So we're coming down this road, and he's like, whoa, 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 whoa. His kids are like, go faster, Dad. He didn't know what to make of it. He's used to the Michigan grid. You can go almost as fast as you want. It's nice and straight. Okay, Brewster, come on. You know them. Okay, buddy, keep going. Yeah, so his wife was like, what is with these roads? We're like, welcome to the East. This is how it is. Kind of funny, the other day I got an email from a friend. We'll call him Ted. It's kind of ironic. I was reading this biography of John Adams, and more or less it was John Adams that ended my relationship with Ted. Kind of a weird thing to say, but for a while in there I knew Ted really well. We played racquetball together twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday. And that hill tired me out a bit. A lot of wind right there. By the way, it's March 3rd, 23 degrees out. I'm back to wearing my mittens. I played golf Sunday afternoon. It was 50. 4 days later, I should have worn my long johns. Anyway, so Ted and I played racquetball together for years. He's a good guy. I liked him then, I like him still, but Ted had a sort of fatal flaw, and that is that he sees the world the way he sees it, and you can't budge him. He's, I would say, nearly delusional in a lot of his views, but he will cling to them till the end. And in a racquetball sense, it just became excruciating because we'd get into an argument on the court. I'd say, Ted, the ball clearly bounced before hitting the wall. No, it didn't. Like, well, you could see it bounce. No. And he would just never admit the truth. He thinks, Ted's a big lefty, for example. Big left winger. He thinks Barack Obama's a genius, greatest president of all time. If you say, Ted, look at the economy over the last 8 years. Look at the debt. Look at foreign policy. They're all horrible. Almost every government institution has been corrupted. The IRS, VA. I can't think of one thing aside from a PR flair that the president's done well. He's a charming fellow. No one could take that away from him. But in the actual running of the country, he's terrible in my view. But Ted's saying, oh, it's all Bush's fault. It's all Bush's fault. So every Tuesday and Thursday, we'd play racquetball, and it would just become one argument after another. Simply would. After a while, it was driving me crazy. Somehow, John Adams came up. And I said, yeah, well, I don't know much about John Adams, but must have been quite a guy, second president of the United States. And Ted said, no, he wasn't the second president. Thomas Jefferson was the second president. I said, no. Adams was the second president. Jefferson was third. Ted said, no. Jefferson. Well, this had come on top of 10,000 other arguments. And obviously I knew that Adams was the second president. It's just one of those things you know. Ted didn't know, but I knew. And I thought to myself, well, this is unmistakable. It's not like the ball bounced or didn't bounce. Something that you might not see properly. It's not like 1,000 other things that I've argued over with Ted. This, you can't mistake it. So I said, all right, Ted, I'll bet you $100. $100. John Adams was the second president of the United States. You go home, look it up. I'll go home, look it up. We'll come back on Thursday, and we'll settle it. So he goes, sure. See what I mean about the curves in this road, by the way? Imagine coming along here about 40, and you're in your Yukon, your Denali. You see this corner? That stone wall is pretty much right on the road. Nice little house, though. So, of course, I didn't even have to check it out. I did check it out just to make absolutely certain. Adams second, Jefferson third, no problem. Come back Thursday to play racquetball, see Ted. We talked for a minute, and I said, so what'd you find out? He's like, what? I said, did you look up who was the second president? He says, what are you talking about? Yeah, what are you talking about? I said, well, we had a discussion. He just looked away, started talking about the weather, whatnot. Okay, this is too tight. Get up here. Okay, we got to turn around, Brewster. It's just too nasty. Come on. Sorry, buddy. That's too dangerous. Yeah, so Ted, he wouldn't even acknowledge it. Wouldn't acknowledge it. I held up my hand for the $100, but no chance of that coming my way. A couple months later, I just couldn't take it anymore. We had some other racquetball-related argument. I just said, you know, Ted, it just isn't worth it. I think it hurt his feelings. We'd been playing racquetball together for years. A couple years after that, this is again, this kind of guy Ted is. I'm at the golf course. I'm at the driving range. Ted comes walking up. He says, hey, Walker, how you doing? I said, oh, good. How you been? Great, he says. He goes, I played last Saturday, shot the round of my life. I said, really? What'd you shoot? He goes, 79. I said, 79? That's great. Now, I've played a little golf with Ted before, and I know a 79 is asking a lot out of him. He's a 90 shooter. He's got some skills, but golf's a hard game. So I'm a little dubious. I say, that's great. I said, what was your low score before the 79? He says, 86. 86. Happened to be an African-American guy standing next to me. I look over at him, he looks over at me, we both kind of snicker. Because you know right away there's something wrong. Golf has got 18 holes, 4 or 5 shots per hole. There are a lot of opportunities to foul up out there, and you are going to foul up. That's the nature of golf. It's a game of mistakes. It's a game of doing things wrong. You try to limit them, but it's hard to limit all of them. Usually, when your low score comes along, if say 86 had been your previous low score, your next low score is 85. Maybe it's 84, but most guys, unless you're a 12-year-old kid just taking up the game. Okay, Brewster, come on. Most guys drop down by 1, maybe 2. These super rounds where all of a sudden you drop down by 7 strokes, nah, that's highly unlikely. So I say to Ted, well, you playing by USGA rules? And he goes, sure I am. Okay, come on, not our yard. Come on out of there. Come on. Come. Hey, come. Brewster, come over here, not our yard. I said, well, let me ask you a question. Now, the first hole at this particular course has a out-of-bounds fence all the way down the left side. It's a simple hole, straight, 360 yards. But there is the danger of out-of-bounds on the left, and there are trees on the right, so people bail out into the right-hand trees all the time. It's easy to hook one over that fence. So I say to Ted, suppose you come up to the first tee, you tee it up, you smack the ball, you hook it over the fence. What do? Ted says, well, I go down to where it went over the fence, drop one, take a stroke, and play on. I look at the black guy, he looks at me, we both kind of snicker. Because that's wrong. That's not what you do at all. That's what you call a stroke and distance penalty, meaning 1 shot over the fence, 2 shots brings you back to the tee, you re-tee it, you hit it again. If you're lucky enough to be in the fairway this time, you're lying 3 in the middle of the fairway. In essence, costing yourself 2 strokes. So that's an example of Ted. I don't think I even corrected him at the spot because it's not really worth it. I later played some golf with Ted. Might have been about that same year. Ted's claiming a 10 handicap, and I was like, oh boy, there's no way he's a 10. He might be might even be a 17, something like that. But I had a threesome, needed a guy, so I gave Ted a call. I knew I was taking my life in my hands because I knew that the other guys that I was playing with are professional gamblers. I knew they were going to take advantage of Ted, and I knew that Ted was going to be my partner because I invited him. So we play a round of golf. Ted claims his 10 handicap. We get hammered by the other guys. I did something. Maybe I birdied 18 or made a clutch par, whatever. I did something to mitigate the damage. We lost maybe $5 or whatever. Not a whole heck of a lot, but enough that it was a loss, and I was thanking my lucky stars that it wasn't much worse. My buddies, they're no dopes. They say, hey, how about a rematch? Before I can say anything, Ted says, yeah, beautiful. And I said, oh, I don't know. Because I'm thinking, I don't want Ted as my partner. We're going to get killed. We were lucky today. We're going to get killed next week. But he's all happy. He wants to play. He wants to join the group. They're like, yeah, this is great. Bring Ted back. I'm like, oh no. So we go the next week. We play. Ted and I get pounded. My other buddies were just snickering all the way to the bank. We finish the round, we're having a beer. They say, hey, how about we do it again next weekend? Ted's like, yeah, I'll play much better. And I'm thinking, oh God. So luckily I had something to do. I couldn't play that next weekend. So I said, hey, stay there. I can't play, you guys do it. So Ted says, okay, that's great. We'll just play next weekend. Now, I did something kind of cruel. Probably shouldn't have done it, but I knew Ted pretty well, and him and this 10 handicap, it's just part of the Ted delusional view of the world. He's really like I said, maybe a 17 or so. He just can never face reality. He always sees it in rose-colored glasses. So after Ted leaves, my buddies are like, oh my God, this is easy money. And I said, well, you really want to take some easy money off and teach him a lesson. Play the skins game. That's when that phony handicap really, really starts to hurt. So they said, yeah, that's a great idea. We'll play the skins game. Skin him alive. So that's what they do. I wasn't there. I was out of town, whatever. 2 weeks later, I show up. Ted's not there. My other buddies are just snickering away because they skinned him for 40 bucks. When you're playing a $1 skin, you end up losing 40. Well, you pretty much got skinned alive. I knew it would happen, and it was funny in that sense. But poor Ted, I saw him the next time. His mouth was all drawn, chin hanging down to his belly button. He never wanted to play with them again. I was like, well, Ted, it might help to have an accurate handicap. He's like, I really am that good. I really am a 10. I'm like, oh, right. Speaking of golf, all right, well, a lot of interference. Garbage trucks, wind. It's a beautiful day, a little cold, but it's a noisy one. See you tomorrow on Waggy Dog.